SourceFed Movie Club. It's me, and this week's movie was The Game. And my quick review for this film is it's a really good kind of film for people who really want to get into the thriller genre but aren't really used to what they're kind of going for. This film does action, but it also does thriller. And it throws it all in together, and it's a relatively simple A to B story once you get to the end, but during the actual journey you honestly get confused, and you're kind of, how far is this going to go? You think you know what something is, you're convinced of an idea, and then it tries to flip it on its head. It's a very interesting film. The acting in this is extraordinary as always. Michael Douglas and Sean Penn do an amazing job as brothers. As a sibling myself, I got the you're trying to help each other so much that you end up really getting on each other's nerves and really pushing each other to the limit of your relationship, and that was really interesting for me. Their scenes are really good together. They look relatively similar, and they do, like, the family resemblance, they do the family getting onto each other's nerves really, really well. The music for this is very cool. There's about two themes that go in. There's a really kind of twinkly, childlike music that's both creepy and nostalgic, and it's kind of, every time you hear that you're like, oh god, what's going on? And the other one was the one about Alice in Wonderland, which just cuts in at the perfect moment when he's going through his house, and you're like, oh, something's going on. There's a lot of, obviously the title of this film is The Game, but there's a lot of obviously game imagery in there. I think I couldn't spot, there was about, maybe, like, every single shot had some sort of grid formation in the background, like windows or some sort of something with lots of squares in it, and it was very monochromed. It was browns and blacks and whites for the most part. There was occasionally dashes of colour, but for the most part it was monochromed. So that constantly reminded me of a chessboard, and constantly made me think they're in a game. It's all a chessboard behind them, and they're all just pawns on this chessboard. Other game imagery that came in, there was the noughts and crosses thing right at the end where he falls, and there's the thing there, and I thought, that's to do with noughts and crosses. The revolver in the bookcase is just straight out of Cluedo. I think in America it's called Clue, but in England it's called Cluedo. And just so many little things like that. There's lots of children's toys scattered around. There's at least 3 or 4 scenes with chessboards in it. And it's all rather subtle, but because I worked out how it was going to end pretty early on, I thought, from about the first scene where he goes and his brother explains the process to him in the restaurant, I immediately thought, I know how this is going to end. So I was noticing more of the directorial things in the background, and I was noticing the music, and I also started people spotting, because I thought this is going to be one of those films that's meant to mess with your head, so I immediately started paying a lot of attention to the faces of the background characters and things like logo names, which really helped me along the way, because when things happened, I mean, it was like, yes, that's that guy from earlier, and this is to do with this. Yeah, so a very enjoyable film, relatively light-hearted in the end, like it ends on a positive note, and I would recommend it. Unless you're affronted by poor language choices, in which case maybe not, wait until you're a bit older, but other than that, really good film, very enjoyable, nice character work, good direction, and yeah, first time watching it, and I enjoyed it, so that's it really. Yeah. See you guys next week.